R2D2. What a character. You know, there's nothing I love more than a good book and a great cup of coffee. Books, dime a dozen. Great coffee, it's hard to find. Let me show you how to make a great cup of coffee using the Chemex Coffee Maker. Let me formally introduce you to the Chemex Coffee Maker, a beautifully hand-blown piece of glass that comes with wooden removable handles and also incorporates a spout that serves two purposes, one of which is to pour the coffee and the other is to benefit you in placing the filter. Just as important as the Chemex Coffee Maker is, you're also going to need the Chemex coffee filters, which are available online and in some of your local stores. Now I have some friends who like to cold brew their coffee. Now that's really fancy, but I prefer to use hot water. I used to use an electric kettle, but have recently switched to a glass one that I use on the gas stove. I really like to use a large measuring cup with a spout to pour hot water over the coffee grounds, as you'll see later. Now be sure to have enough of your favorite coffee grounds on hand, as well as a consistent way to measure the amount of coffee you put into the maker. Be sure to also have a coffee mug set out, as well as a spoon in case you need to stir in some ingredients later. Now that you have these items out, let's set things in motion in order to get that great cup of coffee into your hands. Now don't be shy, go ahead and open up that Chemex coffee filter box. One of the first things you're going to notice about these filters as you pull them out of the box is that they are thicker than what you've typically been using in other coffee makers. Time to take the filter over to the kitchen sink. Turn the water on as you're going to need to get the filter completely wet. Chemex has taken a large circular filter and folded it in half twice. Using your finger, find one layer of the filter and divide it from the other three. Once you have done this, place it underneath the running water until the filter is completely wet. Once the filter is completely wet, go ahead and drain any excess water from the inside of the filter. Remember when I talked about the spout on the Chemex Coffee Maker being more than just a helpful way to pour your coffee? The spout is also where you want to center the three-layered side of your now wet filter. We're getting closer with every second, so go ahead and grab your favorite bag of ground coffee and a way to scoop it into the Chemex Coffee Maker. You know, when it comes down to it, most of us like our coffee at different strengths. I personally like to have strong coffee. But if you don't like to have strong coffee, I recommend you put as much as you normally would in a coffee maker. I tend to put 2 full scoops of coffee into the Chemex coffee filter. Once I've scooped the coffee grounds into the coffee filter, I like to use my finger and create a little divot in the center. This is actually going to provide me with a small target to hit later on when I start pouring hot water into the Chemex coffee maker. Grab whatever device you're going to use to boil water in and fill it up with enough water to not only make your coffee, but also to warm your coffee mug up with the hot water. You know, there's nothing quite like waiting for water to boil. So let me turn on some music. Dun, da, da, da. We have boiling water. One of the little things I like to do is go ahead and fill my coffee mug up with some hot water in order to warm it up. We'll just move that out of the way. The next thing I like to do is go ahead and grab that large measuring cup with a spout and fill it up with hot water. For my perfect cup of coffee, I've ended up with about 16 ounces of water. Once I have the right amount of water in the measuring cup with the spout, I take it over to the Chemex Coffee Maker with the wet filter and the coffee grounds and start to slowly pour the water into that divot or target I made earlier. Another thing I like to do is kind of go in a circular motion with the water flow. Also keeping in mind that the slower I go, the better the coffee is going to be. Another thing to keep in mind as you use the Chemex Coffee Maker is that thick filter. It causes the filtering process to go a little slower. So if you pour the water too fast, you may overflow the filter itself and have water and grounds overrunning your kitchen counter. Through the magic of video editing, I'm going to speed this filtering process up a little bit just to save a little time. When the filtering is done, you can dispose of the used filter and grounds. I'll simply let this moment speak for itself. The only thing left to do now is to enjoy that great cup of coffee. Unless, of course, you like a little something extra in that coffee. For those folks, sky's the limit. See how easy that was? Now that you know how to make a great cup of coffee using the Chemex Coffee Maker, it's your moral obligation to go out and show someone else how to do the same. Changing the world, one cup of coffee at a time.